there.
They told us we were invisible. They told us we were worthless. They told us America didn't want to see wrinkled faces in prime time. Betty White's voice cracked as she recalled those words decades later, tears streaming down her face. But you know what? We didn't just prove them wrong. We shattered every damn rule they'd written. In 1985, 4 women stood on the precipice of oblivion, discarded by an industry that worshipped youth and feared aging. Betty White, Bea Arthur, Rue McClanahan, and Estelle Getty weren't just fighting for a TV show. Are you enjoying this story, Golden Girls? Then help the channel grow. Look, 94.8% of the people who watch these videos are still not subscribed to the channel. If you're part of that group, take the chance and subscribe right now. It's free. And that way, you'll keep receiving amazing stories from TV shows that we still miss a lot. Oh, and don't forget, at the end of the video, you'll find more stories like this one, Golden Girls. They were fighting for their right to exist, to be seen, to matter. What unfolded behind the scenes of Golden Girls wasn't just television history. It was a battle cry that echoed through the souls of millions of women who'd been told their stories no longer mattered. And the truth? It will break your heart and fill it with fire all at once. Picture this, a conference room at NBC, 1984. Susan Harris stands before a panel of men in expensive suits. Her hands trembling but her voice steady. She's pitching a show about 4 women over 50, living together, talking about sex, dating, and refusing to fade away gracefully. The silence is deafening. Then Brandon Tartikoff, the network president, actually laughs. Susan, nobody wants to watch old broads complain about hot flashes. The room erupts in uncomfortable chuckles, but Susan doesn't back down. Her own mother had become invisible after 60, treated like furniture in social gatherings, her opinions dismissed, her presence tolerated but not celebrated. This wasn't just a pitch, it was personal warfare. These women have lived. Susan fired back, her voice rising with each word. They've loved, lost, survived, and they're still here, still fighting, still hungry for life. If you can't see the beauty in that, you're not just blind, you're afraid. The room went silent. Paul Witt and Tony Thomas, sitting in the corner, exchanged glances. They saw something in Susan's eyes that day, desperation mixed with defiance. A woman who would burn the whole industry down before letting it silence her characters. The casting process was a minefield wrapped in heartbreak. Betty White received the script and wept. Not tears of joy, tears of recognition. She saw herself in Blanche Devereaux, the sexually confident Southern belle who refused to let age dim her fire. But then came the phone call that crushed her. Betty, we love you, but you're too associated with promiscuous characters. We need you to play Rose instead, the naive, innocent one. It felt like another door slamming in her face, another industry executive telling her what she could and couldn't be. She almost walked away. What stopped her? A handwritten note from Susan Harris. Rose isn't simple, Betty. She survived losing her husband, raising children alone, and starting over. She chooses joy despite tragedy. That takes a warrior. Are you that warrior? Betty framed that note. It hung in her dressing room for 7 years. Bea Arthur didn't just turn down Dorothy Zbornak 3 times. She ran from it like a woman fleeing a burning building. After Maude, she'd sworn never to return to sitcoms, never to trap herself in that format again. She was done, finished, retired. But Susan Harris knew Bea's secret pain. The actress felt invisible in Hollywood, too tall, too bold, too intimidating for leading roles. Dorothy was written as a love letter, a character who weaponized her height, her intelligence, her sharp tongue. I'm offering you a woman who takes up space unapologetically, Susan told her over a 3-hour dinner that changed everything. A woman who doesn't shrink, doesn't soften, doesn't disappear. She's you, Bea, and the world needs to see you, Bea cried into her wine that night. She said yes through tears, but nothing, absolutely nothing, prepared anyone for Estelle Getty's agony. At 62, playing an 80-year-old seemed like a fun challenge, until the first table read. Estelle's hands shook so violently she couldn't hold her script. Her throat closed. Words evaporated from her mind like smoke. She ran to the bathroom and vomited from sheer terror. This wasn't stage fright. This was trauma resurfacing from decades of rejection, of being told she wasn't pretty enough, young enough, talented enough. And now, given this golden opportunity, her body was betraying her. She wanted to quit. She tried to quit, but Bea Arthur wouldn't let her. That first night, Bea drove to Estelle's apartment and sat with her until dawn. "You think you're alone in this fear?" Bea whispered, holding Estelle's trembling hands. "I'm terrified every single day." Betty hides her pain behind that smile. "Rue is drowning in a marriage that's killing her spirit. We're all broken, Estelle, but we're broken together." They rehearsed lines until sunrise, Bea's patience infinite, her belief unshakable. That's the Golden Girls nobody saw. 4 women holding each other up when the weight became unbearable. September 1985. The pilot airs to modest ratings, but something seismic is happening across America. Women are calling the network, writing letters, thousands of them, with the same message: "Thank you for showing us. Thank you for remembering we exist." A 67-year-old widow from Ohio writes, "I haven't seen myself on television in 20 years. I forgot I mattered." A daughter sends a note. "My mother laughed for the first time since my father died. You gave her back her joy." But Madison Avenue doesn't care about joy. Advertising executives dismiss the show's audience as economically irrelevant. Major cosmetics companies refuse to buy ad time. Women over 50 don't purchase beauty products. A Revlon executive declares at a meeting, his disdain palpable. The show that's making millions of women feel seen is being treated as commercially worthless. Susan Harris walks into NBC with binders full of research, her voice shaking with rage. These women control 60% of household wealth. They make decisions about cars, homes, healthcare, and yes, they buy cosmetics because they refuse to be invisible. It takes 2 full seasons of relentless advocacy before Madison Avenue begins to crack. The second secret of Golden Girls: it didn't just change television, it rewrote the economics of who matters in America. Inside Stage 5 at Renmar Studios, a different war is raging. Bea and Betty are circling each other like wounded animals. Bea's perfectionism clashes violently with Betty's spontaneity. "She treats this like a party," Bea mutters to a producer. "This is art, this matters." What nobody knows is that Bea's rigidity masks profound insecurity. If she's not perfect, she's worthless. That's the message Hollywood drilled into her for decades. Betty's lightness, it's armor too. If she stops smiling, she might shatter completely. The explosion comes during season 3, an emotionally brutal scene about Dorothy's ex-husband. Bea is raw, vulnerable, giving everything. Between takes, Betty cracks a joke, trying to lighten the mood. Bea snaps, "Can you take anything seriously? Do you even care about this?" Betty's smile vanishes. "You think this is easy for me? Pretending everything's fine while I'm terrified every day that I'll lose everything again?" The silence is devastating. Betty walks off set, and for 3 agonizing days, nobody knows if she'll come back. Rue McClanahan becomes the bridge. She locks them both in her dressing room, her own eyes red from crying about her imploding marriage. "We're dying out here," she tells them, her voice breaking. "All of us. Every day we come to this set, we're fighting to prove we deserve to exist. And you two, you're the strongest women I know, are tearing each other apart." She collapses into a chair. "I can't do this without you. Either of you, and neither can millions of women who need to see us succeed." Bea reaches for Betty's hand. "I'm sorry. I'm so scared of failing that Betty squeezes back. "I'm scared too. Every damn day, they don't become best friends that day. But they become something more important, allies who understand that their battle is bigger than their differences." Rue's personal hell is playing the confident, sexually liberated Blanche while her real life is crumbling. Her husband is emotionally abusive, controlling, jealous of her success. She arrives at the studio with bruises she covers with makeup, with a spirit so crushed she can barely breathe. Blanche Devereaux becomes her escape, the woman she wishes she could be. Action. The director calls and Rue transforms. She becomes powerful, magnetic, unapologetic. Cut! And the mask shatters. She retreats to her dressing room and weeps. Betty finds her one day, mascara streaking down her face. "I'm playing the strongest woman on television," Rue whispers, "and I can't even leave my own husband." Betty doesn't offer platitudes. She offers truth. Then let Blanche teach you how. Every time you say those lines, you're practicing being free. When Rue finally files for divorce in 1986, it's Bea who helps her pack, Estelle who finds her an apartment, Betty who holds her through the worst nights. The Golden Girls became her lifeline when she was drowning. February 1990. The Scared Straight episode is about to air, and NBC is in full panic mode. Rose discovers she might have AIDS from a blood transfusion. The network wants to kill it. Too controversial. Advertisers will flee. Ratings will tank. Susan Harris delivers an ultimatum. This episode airs or I walk. The cast rallies behind her like soldiers. Bea Arthur personally calls every NBC executive, her voice like steel. "If you cut this episode, you're telling America that people with AIDS don't deserve dignity. Is that who you want to be?" Betty White, known for never making waves, threatens to quit. Rue and Estelle stand united. The episode airs. The response is seismic. Thousands of letters pour in. From people living with AIDS, from healthcare workers, from families destroyed by stigma. "You treated us like human beings," one man writes. "For the first time, someone saw us." That night, the four women sit together in Bea's dressing room, exhausted and exhilarated. They've transcended entertainment. They've become warriors for the voiceless. But the war is extracting its price. Estelle Getty's memory is failing, and she knows it. By season 6, terror grips her daily. She can't remember lines. Teleprompters are hidden everywhere, on plants, behind furniture, taped to other actors. The shame is crushing her. She begs them to write her out of the show. "I'm ruining this," she sobs to Bea. "I'm destroying what we built." The response is swift and fierce. The cast and crew create an elaborate protection system. Scripts are rewritten to shorten Sophia's scenes. Blocking is adjusted, so Estelle always faces a teleprompter. Every single person on that set becomes her guardian. When executives start questioning Sophia's reduced presence, Bea makes a decision that will haunt and honor her forever. She announces she's leaving after season 7. The official reason: creative fulfillment. The truth? She knows Estelle can't continue, and she refuses, absolutely refuses, to let her friend be humiliated, to let the industry discard her like garbage. "We walk out together," Bea tells her privately, "with our dignity intact." Golden Girls ends in 1992, not because the story is finished, but because love demanded it. The final episode tapes in front of a live audience that doesn't know it's the last. As the closing scene unfolds, the four women around their kitchen table, laughing about everything and nothing, something extraordinary happens. Betty glances at Bea and sees tears streaming down her face. Rue reaches under the table and squeezes Estelle's hand. They're not acting anymore. They're saying goodbye to the roles that saved them, to each other, to a miracle that almost didn't happen. When the director yells, "Cut!" for the final time, the audience erupts. The standing ovation lasts 11 minutes. The four women hold each other on that kitchen set and weep for what they've survived, for what they've proven, for the revolution they've ignited. 20 years later, Betty White is asked about the Golden Girls' legacy. Now in her 90s, she pauses for a long moment, her eyes distant. "We were four women Hollywood threw away," she finally says, her voice thick with emotion. "We were too old, too difficult, too unmarketable. And we became one of the most successful shows in television history. Not despite our age, because of it. Because we had stories worth telling, wisdom worth sharing, lives worth celebrating." She leans forward, fierce and unbroken. "We didn't just entertain people. We told millions of women, you are not invisible. You are not worthless. Your story isn't over. It's just beginning. The legacy of Golden Girls isn't measured in Emmy Awards or syndication deals. It's measured in the countless women who learned they could take up space unapologetically, who discovered that aging isn't an ending, but a continuation, who understood that solidarity between women can move mountains. Four warriors who refused to disappear didn't just change television, they changed what it means to be a woman in America. Are you enjoying this story? Golden Girls? Then help the channel grow. Look, 94.8% of the people who watch these videos are still not subscribed to the channel. If you're part of that group, take the chance and subscribe right now. It's free. And that way, you'll keep receiving amazing stories from TV shows that we still miss a lot. Oh, and don't forget, at the end of the video, you'll find more stories like this one, Golden Girls and their revolution. It's still echoing through every woman who refuses to shrink, to silence herself, to fade away quietly. Thank you for being a friend indeed. The truest friends are the ones who teach you that you were always worth fighting for.